Hi, everybody. I am Shelly B, a conservative Black sister surviving in a hot mess world. And today's hot mess is women all across America crashing out because they are losing their social service benefits, their welfare benefits, food stamps, Section 8, all types of things. But before I get into this, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I would greatly appreciate it. I haven't even actually watched this video because I was trying to find, I'm always trying to find a story to talk about that's a little bit more lighthearted than talking about protests. I didn't put my lip gloss on yet, so I'm sorry. My lips felt dry. So let me get it together first. Hit the like button before I was actually right. But yeah, so I wanted to try to pick something that was a little bit more lighthearted. I mean, it's not really funny or lighthearted that this is happening to these people, but some of them it is because the way they carry on, they kind of deserved it and, put the nails in their own coffins and whatnot. And like I said, I haven't watched this video, so my reactions are going to be genuine. But I just figured, let me just watch this video on live because when I started watching it, I was like, oh, okay, this is where this is going. So I said, let me just watch it live, kill two birds with one stone. So I hope you all are having a lovely day today. I hope you all are being productive in your lives, not like some of these people that we're probably going to see. I mean, it can be hard out here for women. A lot of single parents are on here of all races, because I know people always try to say like single parenthood is synonymous for Black women, but there's women of all races that you're going to see on here and that I have seen dealing with this, people of all walks of life. And I really do believe that a lot of these social service programs do stagnate people, and that is by design. I feel like the Black community has been destroyed since we aligned with Democrats and all these social service programs and stuff like that, because it forced the fathers out of the home, because you can't even get these services if you have a partner, which is crazy. It's just a way to divide families. And I just feel like, it's time for us to come out of the system as much as possible. I mean, I feel like if you pay taxes, you're entitled to certain things. Like me, I pay so much in taxes. I want unemployment and I want anything I can get in between projects when I'm not working, because I pay a lot of taxes. And I always pay my taxes. I'm always up to date with my taxes. I never owe anything. And if I do, they take it out of the next refund. Like, I keep up with that. So I really am a person that wants everything I'm entitled to because I'm a hard worker. But the people that are not hard workers, and some people are on some of these services for generations, like their mama died, they pass it on to their kids and they pass it on and pass it on. I don't think a voucher should be like that, and I do feel like, people that are disabled, elderly, even young women when they have babies and they need that assistance to stay home with your child and get it together. But at a point, you should get it together. You should get it together, because I've been on social services before, and the one thing that none of you guys can tell me is that they do help you find jobs. They help you find jobs. They give you free childcare. You have all of the help in the world if you want to better yourself. If you don't want to better yourself, then you won't take advantage of any of these services. I mean, even like when I got social services back in the day, they helped me do my resume. They did such a stellar resume. That's how I got my first job at ABC. And then I've been working in film and television ever since. They will find you a job within your skill set while you're on these services. If they're giving you 2 years, enroll in school. And I'm sure if you're still in school during the recertification process, I'm sure they're not going to throw you off of it when they see that you're actually trying to better yourself and you're still in school, or, finishing a degree or whatever. You know what I mean? And like, the whole plan in life should be to free yourself and then get off these programs. So let's just listen to this video and see how it is. It's relatively long, so I'm gonna see how far I can get in it before I have to go. Oops, sorry, I didn't share my screen. Hold on, y'all. Sorry about it. Sorry, hold on. Okay. So,
food stamps,
sorry, y'all.
$85 from $738.
Fellas, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about how modern women are being rocked by Trump's new EBT food stamp requirements. The safety net is shrinking, And for many, the wake-up call has just begun. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into it.
The food stamp saga continues. The lady who received thousands of dollars in food stamp now cannot use her EBT card to do her eyebrows and her nails. And she is saying that the American people need to fix this. Listen to what she has.
Now, this lady they're about to show, she's been on, she's been getting roasted a lot because she's been saying that, she has like a gang of kids and social services is paying for her, and she drives a brand new BMW and all this and that. She just, she's just been really doing too much.
To say.
PSA for anybody on EBT that has been paying for your nails.
Honestly, she should not get her nails done and get her teeth done, because for as much money as they were giving her for her kids and to live, I don't understand why nails would be more important than your digestive system and trying to chew.
Lashes, whatever it may be.
I didn't know you could do that.
You can no longer do that. No.
Didn't
I
even
just went to go get my nails, lashes, and eyebrows done. Went to go swipe my EBT card, and she tells me they no longer accept that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So not only are they taking away junk food, sugary drinks.
Yeah, that's another thing that RFK has done. Shout out to RFK, because I really like where he's been going. And that's a lot of reason why I voted for this administration, was because of RFK and the policies that he was talking about, more than even what Trump was saying he was going to do, is the policies with RFK, because I was really against the vaccine mandates and all of these vaccines in the schedule for kids to go to school and all that stuff. So much so that I had to move out of New York because they were just ridiculous with it. So yeah, shout out to that, because I feel like you shouldn't be buying, sugar drinks and potato chips and donuts and all that stuff. You buy wholesome food for your kids and family with the money that you're taking for tax dollars. Get fit and get in shape. Or, I never understood why they give them money to buy junk food like that, and they're not even really buying like wholesome food with it. You can even buy candy with food stamps. It's crazy.
They are giving us all a time limit with how long we can be on EBT. Now you can get your nails done with EBT. So I had to use cash.
Oh,
Cash out
Wait a
of
minute.
my
I didn't even know. I did not know that you could get your nails done with EBT. I didn't know that. That's news to me. They making it real comfy. The reason why people don't want to come off of here. This is insane.
my nails and eyebrows.
Oh.
So now I'm $100 short on my freaking rent that I'm supposed to pay today.
I'm sorry.
Child.
They need to figure something out
Oh.
because this is not okay.
Now, apparently, it's the American taxpayers' problem that she is $100 short for her rent. But isn't this the same lady who gets a paycheck from TikTok from all of her views? Now,
Mhm.
she could easily use that $100 that she was making from TikTok and go pay for the rent.
And this right here is the perfect example of modern entitlement in full display. So let's get this straight. This woman already got thousands of dollars in food stamps, courtesy of the hardworking taxpayers. And now she's upset.
And what makes me mad about stuff like this is during COVID, for as much taxes as I pay, I could get no assistance, nothing. I couldn't get anything. And then I had to fight with them to pay my arrears in rent to my landlord. Meanwhile, they're paying rent for people that are completely able-bodied, no kids, or even ones that have kids that just choose not to work and do nothing with their lives. They don't go to school or anything. And they get all these resources. Hi, Kimba. Yes, it is crazy. It's very crazy that you can use EBT to get your nails done.
Because she can't use her EBT card to get her eyebrows and nails done? You cannot make this up. She's not thankful.
You really can't.
She's not budgeting. She's not focused on feeding her kids or putting groceries on the table. Nope. She's demanding the government,
I think
aka
that lady
you,
got like 6 kids.
me, and every working American step in and fix the system so she can swipe her benefits card at the nail salon.
Hot ass
Let me
her.
ask the obvious. When did government assistance turn into a beauty stipend? Food stamps are supposed to be a safety net, not a lifestyle upgrade. They're meant to help struggling families eat, not glam up. And the audacity to complain about what you can't buy with free money is everything that's wrong with the culture right now.
They it makes me so annoyed. And it's the same thing too with illegals too. They just seem so entitled. Like we have to do this. That is not a right. That's like a privilege that, that these tax dollars are used like this, and Americans don't want to use the money like this anymore. They don't. And it's like she's mad at everybody but herself for why she's in this situation. This doesn't make any sense. That would be unacceptable to me, that I can't take care of my child. You know, I will do anything I got to do to make sure that he's good, like work.
Here's the thing. You want your nails done? Pay for it. You want your brows shaped? Budget for it. You want luxuries? Earn them, just like the rest of us. Because
And she was making money on TikTok talking about how stupid everybody is, and she's not working, and she has a BMW, and she has all this and that, and she don't have to work, and she's getting all these services. And now she's looking stupid. I don't see why people go on TikTok and stuff like that and tell all their business. And I guess, you know, they reported her. I don't know how she got flagged in this, but she lost all those services. It's actually hilarious to see somebody like this that happened to them.
getting help is not the same as being owed. And if you can say the American people need to fix it, while literally living off the American people's wallets,
Okay.
you are the problem. Respect the help, don't abuse it. Because entitlement will always run out.
Because check it out, migrants were getting housing, school, clothes stipends, money, food stamps, and free college. We can't get that. It was mind-boggling the amount of money that they gave to them and like how much it was bankrupting cities. And then they are mad because Americans don't want to do that anymore. I mean, we did it for years. And it's like, okay, enough is enough. Can we keep some of this money for ourselves? Can we get some of that money, all them billions of dollars they spent? Can we get some of that money back? Can we stop paying for that and get some of the money back? I mean, it's crazy. A lot of veterans, they couldn't find housing for them because they had overrun so many of the shelters, and it was a racket because these shelters are getting money from the government and all this and that, and they would prefer to have the migrants than have us because they get more money for them. It was just a mess. And it was corrupt and it needed to stop. And I don't understand why people are fighting for this so hard when, you know, can we fight for the American people here that are suffering and struggling? I mean, I'm sorry, it can sound however you think it's going to sound, but it's so many people here that are struggling and suffering here, and they can't get any assistance. And they're really working poor people that are really trying to survive that can get nothing. Nothing. Please.
And when it does, all that's left is reality.
America can't be real. America can't be real. Okay, listen. I applied for food stamps back in, I think, January, and I got denied because I was getting unemployment. My unemployment was a lot. So as soon as my unemployment ran out, I applied again, and they seen I wasn't earning anything, and I didn't put any income down at all. And I don't have really income that you could track, right? Guess how much money in food stamps I'm getting? No, like I also have a daughter. Guess how much food stamps they get? I have no income on nothing I gave them. No income. Guess how much money they gave me? Comment. Whoever comment the best one, I'm cash shopping y'all $5. Real, like, cause this shit is crazy. So
I would like to say it's $12, $25 or something like that for the month, because that happened to me too. But then you have people working in the supermarkets that are keeping the receipts from migrants, and they have food stamp balances in the thousands. I don't understand why they would do that. And I just believe that it was the fact that Democrats knew that Black people have fell out with them completely over COVID, because we were the ones that suffered the most from those policies and those mandates and stuff like that, because we took those shots to leave. So we were the ones that really lost. We were the ones that lost them jobs. We were the ones that really were the ones that were most affected. So they knew that they had to find a new voting block, because Black people were the main ones always carrying that party all the time. And being that they knew they didn't have them, they have to get a new voting block. So they go on schmooze and do whatever they have to do to get these new voters. That's all it is. It just is what it is. And I don't see why people don't see it. It's so obvious that that is what it is. They have completely abandoned most Americans for these people because they need the votes to stay in power. But like I said, Trump getting in office foiled the plan because I don't think they ever thought that they wouldn't get it, you know, stay in office and be able to get the rest of these people, you know, citizens and voting and stuff like that. They were going to make all the illegal citizens and get them the right to vote and everything like that. And then that would have just changed the dynamic of our country forever. And the legal Americans, our vote would never, ever match. And they would just always stay in power. We would never have enough people to outvote them. So, I mean, people should really look at this and really, be logical of why, you know, they used up all of New York's money, they used up all of Chicago's money. And, you know, Kimba says it's a Marxist agenda. It sure is. It sure is. And, you know, people talk about fascists and all. I mean, come on. You know, to me, I feel like they threw Black people under the bus, you know, and then they picked up a new group, you know, and if you look, they come first now in America. They do. And I feel like there's so many people out here suffering. A lot of people still haven't been made whole from COVID, and these people are just giving the money away. And, you know, it just doesn't make any sense. It's not fair at all.
Like that the Trump administration is cracking down the usage of food stamps, and it looks like it's getting a lot stricter. So the changes that I did heard when it comes to being eligible for food stamps is that if you are an able-bodied individual, there's nothing seriously wrong with you, you are able to get a job. That is actually one of the major requirements you must have in order to be eligible to be on food stamps. So that's one of the things that the government actually are cracking down. So if there's nothing seriously wrong with you, you're not disabled or anything like that, you can get a job. You just one of those that don't want to work, you just depend on the government to take care of you, your benefits of getting food stamps will get eventually cut off because now it's required you have to have a job. This other change that really was shocking, it's kind of good, but kind of bad at the same time. But it was also said that when it comes to using your food stamps, it's not going to work for junk food or sugary drinks. So if you're one of the ones that like to buy a bunch of snacks for your kids, like cookies, chips, candy, and sodas, Sprite Zero, whatever. If you're one of those that buys a lot,
it's going to be like a WIC check. Y'all remember, you know how on a WIC check you can only get like certain special wholesome foods and stuff? That's how it's going to be. I don't really see nothing wrong with it. It's for your own damn good.
Junk food stamps, it's not going to work for that. So sugary drinks and junk food is not going to work with your food stamp card. So that part is really shocking for me. And the reason why I say that because food itself is already high. And you want people to eat healthy and make better decisions when it comes to their health. But how about telling these corporations to drop down their prices to make healthier food more affordable? Because even a lot of people do eat out and spend less money when it comes to eating out, especially when it comes to their kids, than spending money on trying to eat healthy. A lot of times eating healthy is actually very expensive. So if you want people to eat healthy that's on food stamps, drop those prices down. So, but that's the one thing that is shocking to me when I saw that you can't buy sugary drinks, sodas and junk food with your food stamps. You cannot do that anymore. So that's one of the changes actually was shocking for me.
I think it's great.
Now, being on government assistance is supposed to be temporarily, but a lot of people are abusing it. So it's kind of good that they're actually cracking down.
I have to skip her. She's talking so slow and just going on, and we get the point. And I hate when people talk slow like that. It irritates me. I don't know what it is. It vexes me.
Not only did they increase my rent because I started working, they increased my rent. They have now deducted my food stamps. So they increased my rent. They tell me I can't qualify for benefits and I can't get child support or anything because my husband's in prison. So I'm a single mom with no help, no family, no nobody, no nothing. And now I just got a letter. I'm just quite pleased with it, honey. It says,
and I have to tell you, one, because I've had gotten these services before. And I do not stay on them at any length of time because I need money. I don't see how people live off of this. Kimber says healthy food is more expensive. It is. It can be. It shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be more expensive, though. You know, healthy food, you know, should be less, you know. And I do feel that it can be if you get used to eating fruit and salads and things like that. Because I feel like food, like my doctor told me, if it comes in a box or a bag, don't eat it. And I feel like food that does come in boxes or bags it's expensive. It's very expensive compared to, you know, buying a bag of apples or a bag of grapes or whatever. You know, I don't know. And plus, you don't want to eat that food all the time. It's just not good for you anyway. You know, it's just not healthy. You know, and they're saying make America healthy again. Most of the kids in America are overweight and stuff, so they need to do something.
Now they have reduced my food stamps from $523 a month for 2 people to now $320 a month for 2 people. So that's great because.
And what I was saying before is these food stamps and stuff there's not a lot of money. You could probably make more money on a job. Now I can understand why you wouldn't want to lose your housing. And I do feel like they need to revamp that Section 8 program where working poor people don't lose their benefits when they get a job. Because, you know, a lot of people, once they get a job, they can't afford their rent, you know, and so a lot of people don't want to get a job because they don't want to lose their housing benefits, but y'all about to lose them now anyway. So it's going to force you to try to do what you got to do to, you know, pull yourself up. You know, when I had my son, I wasn't even working. We were on a strike at the time, and I didn't work for like a year, but being on welfare and not working and sitting around collecting Section 8, that wasn't an option for me. I knew I wanted more for myself than that. So you guys have to think about this because it's going to be real for y'all, and people are already getting evicted and stuff like that. And like, you better have a plan. You better have a plan. And having a degree don't mean jack today, because most of these people with these degrees are not working either. So what are you going to do?
Of course, the reason is because I make too much money. But I guess I shouldn't complain because at least I get them. Because a lot of people, I've been ranting about this stuff for a couple days now, and a lot of people are.
And y'all better not say nothing to me about Black people wearing wigs because the white girls wear them too. Look at that.
I mean, how they're not even getting them, and I don't know how people are surviving out here. And then everyone wants to comment, well, your hair and nails are done. First of all, my hair has not been done in a long time. And when it did get done, honey, that was my sponsor who did it because, you know, I'm a recovering addict. And, honey, she's relapsed now, obviously. And the hair clip, this is a clip that I paid $6 for at Shane. The eyelashes and stuff, they come from the Dollar Tree or in bulk from Shane for $3. My nails are not done professionally, honey. I do them myself. I pay a big dollar for them.
Me too. I do my own nails myself.
Just so
I can't see putting that.
And also, when you work hard, don't you all like to buy yourself something too? So when everyone says that because I work and have a kid,
I do agree that you should take, no matter what, even if you buy yourself something really small out of the Dollar Tree or whatever, you should always do something nice for yourself, you know, and you should always take pride in the way you look. I don't have a problem with that, but I feel like, you know, people have to strive more and just be more aggressive and wanting more out of life. Kimber says, I don't know about now, but years ago, they made it so hard to get off with the way they will cut your benefits so much if you worked at all. Yes. And I feel like that's a problem because that makes people stuck. And I feel like it's by design to make people want to feel stuck. Back then, you couldn't buy junk food either. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I do feel like it is there just to make people feel stuck and never pull themselves up or feel that they can't pull themselves up. And it's a terrible situation to be in. It really is. But for me, that wasn't an option. And I learned to trade at a very young age. I got my license at 18. So I would definitely say, don't have kids with a jailbird. Don't have kids before that you really are in a position to take care of them. I had my child at 40 years old. I was old when I had my son. I had did everything in life. My career was secure and everything. Now I'm not recommending anybody have their child that late because that was purely by chance. But I would definitely say get your life together and get yourself on point pretty good before you have kids. Or pick somebody that's not a loser to have kids with. I would definitely recommend that.
And I'm poor. I don't deserve anything nice ever. I just deserve shit. That's your all's mentality whenever you all come at me with that right there about the shit I do have. Just so you know.
Food stamps and welfare were never meant to be a permanent income stream. They were meant to bridge the gap, not build a lifestyle. If you're still relying on government assistance years later, and instead of looking for a way up, you're complaining that you can't use EBT for your nails or brows, you are the problem. You can't say you're struggling, then turn around and live comfortably off the taxpayer's dime. You can't claim independence while demanding endless handouts. And you definitely can't expect respect while refusing to take responsibility. Here's the real issue. Too many women have turned temporary help into a long-term hustle. And when that hustle gets checked, suddenly it's unfair or oppressive. No, what's unfair is hardworking people funding your lifestyle while you make zero effort to change your situation.
Word.
So yes, any woman complaining about stricter welfare laws is the exact reason those laws are needed. It's not cruelty, it's correction. It's called putting the system back in place for those who actually need it, not for those who abuse it. If you want more, earn more. Because temporary help should never become your permanent plan.
Scams are not being abused in our country. I have a lot to say about this, so please listen. A small background, I run a nonprofit for single moms. Did you know that single moms make up more than half of the recipients of food stamps, them and their children? I know many of you are going to say, well, that's not who this bill's targeting. That's not what we're targeting, but we are. Because here's the thing, if that mom needs a soda, or if that kid...
But they keep making it seem like, you know, American citizens are going to be hurt so much. The main reason why they made this bill is, and you could thank the illegals for this, because the reason why they made it is because they want to stop giving government money to illegals. They were getting money, housing, medical, food, and free college. That's crazy. And they're the ones that are really getting cut. Able-bodied people are getting cut. You know, whenever you, and this is the bullshit part of it, because anytime, every year when you have these social services, you have to recertify for them. So every year they're going to come and ask you your situation, your condition you're in, and stuff like that. If nothing changes in your situation, usually you keep everything. But Section 8 now, they're not going to pay your free rent forever. Now, free rent for 2 years, I wish somebody would pay my rent for 2 years, because I could really pull myself up great if I didn't have to pay rent for 2 years. So people are just not using these services in the way that they can uplift them. They're just taking them and being stuck.
That wants a candy bar, or that teenager wants Takis, they should be able to get those things. I have single moms.
Have you ever seen Takis under the microscope? I don't let my son eat that. If he eating them, he's sneaking them. Because I try my best to tell my son not to eat stuff like that. You know? Why do you want your kids to eat food full of chemicals and bugs? And God only knows what else is in that crap.
Every month that reach out to me that their food stamps are gone for the month and they need help. So they're not overspending. I don't know where this idea is, and I don't know how people that are rich and that have never struggled.
If you're buying junk food with your food stamps and you're not cooking, you are wasting the money. Cook. Because if you cook, I guarantee you could stretch that money. Cook. Bake your kids a cake. Make them cookies. Teach them how to make potato chips and stuff like that. Stop playing with me. Those are all things I did with my son. You know, when I didn't have money, we made a birthday cake. Stuff like that. We did not, I try my best not to buy too much junk in the stores.
With food insecurity are the ones that are getting to make these decisions. The other issue I have with it is not all of these moms have the ability to cook.
Why
some
not?
of them don't have working.
Why not? If you don't have a job, why can't you cook? Even when you have a job, you can cook on the weekends. Most people have a job that's like 9 to 5. You mean to tell me you can't come home and cook for your kids? My son used to go to a school that didn't have lunch. I used to come home late at night and making his lunch for school. Until he got big enough and said, oh, mommy, I don't want to bring lunch no more because nobody does that. And I want to eat with everybody. So then I started letting him do it. But I wanted to make his food because I wanted to make sure he had something nutritious to eat, because I really didn't like the school lunch that they had. So, you know, this is what I'm saying. And I'm going to skip her too, because she's getting on my nerve. Because, you know, you just excuses all the damn time.
food stamps. These programs feed families, they feed children, and I'm not going to sit here and act brand new like I haven't been there myself. I'm grateful for government assistance that helps people through hard times.
Exactly.
But here's the truth. The Liberal Party is fear-mongering again, convincing people, especially struggling mothers, that Trump is cutting food stamps altogether, and that is a lie. Trump is not cutting the food stamp program. He's making policy changes.
They even gave more money to Section 8. They put more money in the program, but they cutting off all of these deadbeats and immigrants and all these people, you know, illegals and stuff, so they can use the money to help foster kids when they get out of foster care, to help veterans and people that really need the services, because there's so many people on there that don't need to be on there. There's not any services for the people that need it. I don't understand why this doesn't make sense to y'all. It's crazy.
And yes, one of them is that if your child is over 7, you will have to work to continue receiving benefits. That might feel unfair, but change is inevitable. We can't.
You know why they say 7? Because once your child is going to school, your ass can work. And they always have some type of after school programs that you could put your child in, that the government will subsidize for you and stuff like that. So it's no excuse. You can work. You can work, and you will make money on your job more than what they're going to give you in cash assistance, period.
Keep normalizing generational dependence on government. And I say this with love, guys. You cannot keep having babies you can't feed and expect the government to carry the weight forever.
And she ain't lying, because if you have one child, like I have one child, period, and I had my child at 40, and I just knew I did not want no more. Had I been married, I probably would have had a lot more kids. If I was a very wealthy person married, I probably would have had a lot of kids, because I love children. But I'm not trying to bring children in and I can't give them the love and attention that they need, and I don't have the money, and I'm stressing myself out, making myself crazy, and they're not fully cared for properly. That doesn't make sense. That's your fault. And I feel sorry for kids born into families like that.
That's not empowerment. That's bondage. Women, we are the gatekeepers of our fertility. It's time to be more intentional, more aware, and more responsible.
That is true.
This isn't judgment. This is truth. But let me also say this to the people sitting on their high horses, looking down and judging these women. Shame on you. It's not weak to ask for help when you're doing your best to raise your children. It's not shameful to need support, and especially in a broken economy. In America, we don't let babies or children go to bed hungry. We feed our families.
In this country, every child is supposed to have medical insurance. Okay, just so you know, if any people out there, their kids are not sure, every child has to have medical insurance, and you will get free insurance for your child. Okay, so there is lots of ways that you could get. There's lots of resources for people that have children. You know what I mean? So stop thinking that you're going to be stuck by pulling yourself up. You can't keep thinking that to me, that's like the bottom. People that are on these services are like, unless they're doing some kind of work off the books, they are at poverty level. And you should want more for yourself than that.
Give grace, we tell the truth, and we hold each other accountable without tearing each other down. God bless the mothers. God bless the working families, and God bless our country.
You can't keep bringing children into the world without the means to provide for them.
There you go.
And then turn around and expect the government, aka taxpayers, to foot the bill forever. That's not empowerment. That's not independence.
And you know why taxpayers and Americans are getting tired? Because the economy is so bad. Since COVID, people still haven't been made whole. People are struggling, and then they don't understand why they're paying for these people, and they need it. So everybody's struggling in this country right now. Everybody's feeling it. I don't care if you're a millionaire or billionaire, whatever. Everybody's bottom line has been adjusted and reset. The great reset. Okay? So stop it. Stop it.
That's irresponsibility. Having children should come with accountability, not entitlement. If you can't afford to raise a child, you shouldn't be having one just because you feel like it or want someone to love you. Children are not emotional support dolls. They're human beings who need food, clothing, education, stability, consistently. And here's the truth most won't say out loud. The government is not a baby daddy, and it shouldn't be used like one. These programs were designed to help in emergencies, not bankroll poor decisions.
You know when you're sleeping with somebody that they ain't shit. You know it. You know it. I didn't think I could get pregnant. I love the child that I have, and I wouldn't want another one, but I knew his father was somebody that I would never have a child with, and I just didn't think I could be pregnant. You understand? Because I had gotten so old, and I just thought I missed that window of opportunity. But I thought that I was good. I didn't want no kids and all of that. And when I got pregnant with my son, I said, well, Lord, it must be a miracle. And, you know, at the age I'm at, I better have this baby because, you know, I might not get another chance. And voila, that's how my son got here, you know? So, you know, the other girl, the white girl, said her baby father in prison. You know he's a jailbird or somebody that is not trying to do the righteous thing when you get with him. So you only have your own self to blame. You know, I just feel like I was just a mature person and I just knew I'm going to take care of this child by myself. You know what I'm saying? Me and him just argue about everything and couldn't agree on nothing. And, you know, the judge saw I was a better parent and gave me full custody of my son. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, why take yourself through that as a young woman? You know what I mean? I was a mature woman. I was able to get lawyers and go to court and do what I had to do for my child, you know? And then you have more. That white girl at the beginning has 6 kids.
Decision making for the next 18 years. If you choose to lay down with someone who isn't financially stable, who won't stick around, and who offers nothing long-term, then yes, you are responsible for what comes next.
Child.
Not the system, not the taxpayers. You. If you can't feed him, don't keep having him. It's really that simple.
So yeah, I'm doing a video today because as I'm continuously...
Can somebody please explain to me this trend of people getting on TikTok and making videos with bonnets on? I've even seen men doing it. I don't understand this. You know, I have nothing against wearing bonnets or whatever. Do you, whatever you want, you know. But I don't know. We do too much sometimes.
Scrolling on my TikTok, I keep seeing y'all post these stories and post these things about them cutting off food stamps. Okay, so the reason I'm rolling my eyes is because most, M-O-S-T, because y'all tend to not really listen properly. Most of everybody that's on food stamps and even Section 8, I know I mentioned Section 8 in another video, but this video is about food stamps. Most of y'all that's on food stamps be lazy as a bitch. I grew up with a mama that stayed on food stamps. That bitch was lazy. That lady, most of y'all purposely sit around and don't work to get food stamps. Y'all would rather choose getting food stamps over actually working to be able to pay your bills. When most of the time, y'all own food stamps and don't get no real food.
Yep.
Yes, I said it, real food.
Exactly.
Every time I look around, people that's on food stamps getting straight junk food for them kids.
Yep.
All these darn Kool-Aid.
And going to the deli and getting sandwiches and stuff like that. And that's why a lot of these mothers, these single mothers on these social services are overweight. Because they eating fake food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And juice, like these artificial messed up juices, cakes, all types of Debbie cakes, man. Y'all don't be feeding them kids real food.
I never got my son.
But sitting around here crying online, talking about he cutting them out. Get up and go work.
You'll make
you
more
got
money.
People out here working and paying their bills and taking care of their family. Then this another thing. Y'all got all them kids. You knew that you weren't gonna be able to afford those children. You knew from the jump, if something like this was to go down and happen, you need to be able to afford the children that you decided to have. I'm young and I know this. If I know I can't afford 7 kids, why the heck I done set up there and kept laying down having them? Another thing is y'all got 7 kids and be single. Where is your husband? So you don't mean to tell me you done sat around here and kept believing these men and having kids with these men? And now you in this situation and now you crying on TikTok. We can't help you. Get up and go work.
Go work.
Food stamps, welfare, EBT. These programs were created to help people through a hard time, a rough patch, a temporary setback. They weren't designed to be a lifestyle, a generational crutch, or a backup plan for poor decisions. And yet, here we are. And who's overwhelmingly abusing that system? Modern women. Let's not sugarcoat it. It's not men out here proudly flaunting EBT cards on TikTok, showing off their nails, hair, lashes, designer bags, and saying the government got me. It's not men walking into salons with a $0 bank balance and demanding someone else foot the bill while they brag about being independent. It's not men out here having 3 kids by 3 different men and then turning around and saying, the system failed me. No, the system didn't fail you. You failed yourself. And worse, you failed the children you chose to bring into this world under unstable, selfish circumstances. You can't keep laying down with the broke, dusty men you claim to hate, popping out kids, and then expecting the government, meaning other hardworking people, to raise your child for you. That's not strength. That's
Let me tell you something. I have one child. At 40 years old, I had a very successful career. At the time I had my child, I had plenty of money. Everything was good for me. I didn't have any issues with money and raising my son until COVID. And I still don't really feel I had too many issues because God was providing for me really good. So I feel like I'm so blessed and highly favored. But I just have to say, I would never have another child. And I was in a position to do it. What would you do that to yourself for if you know? I could see you make the mistake the first time. Okay, we'll give you that. Okay, you made the mistake the first time, but then you did it multiple times with multiple different baby fathers. It makes no sense. And it's really sad that the women really get beat up for being single parents, but the men kind of leave not being accountable at all. Like it's just, oh, single mothers. But what about the men that make them single mothers? You know what I mean? It's the problem. It's a big problem. And the only way that this curse is going to be cured is if you go to work, create a business, be an entrepreneur, do something, go learn a trade, go back to school, even though a lot of these people with these degrees, they ain't doing too good their damn self, but you got to figure your way out and try to create a good life for your kids and teach your kids, how to survive. Because social services is not it.
Responsibility disguised as victimhood. Being on food stamps isn't shameful if it's temporary, if you're actively working to get back on your feet. But when you're on your third kid, no job, no plan,
and
still
your family
demanding
been on
help
social
and
services
blaming
for
everyone
decades,
except yourself,
generations.
the problem isn't the system. It's you. These programs were designed to bridge the gap, not become your full-time lifestyle. Yet here we have women treating government assistance like a reward for poor choices. You want to be praised for being a single mom, but you chose the man. You want to be celebrated for surviving, but you keep repeating the same cycle. You want handouts, but refuse to take accountability for the pattern of behavior that put you in this position. And here's the kicker. These same women will look down on blue-collar men, talk trash about men making $50,000 a year, and say he can't handle me, while living off benefits provided by those same men's taxes. Make it make sense. If you're truly about empowerment, stability, and building a life, then
Kimber says it won't change unless men will start being shamed for having illegitimate children. Yes, it is. Because the women are shamed because they actually keep the damn kids. Imagine if women walked away from their kids like the men do. So she is right. The men should be shamed just as much as the women. I just feel like people are like single mothers. But, I can't think of one mother of a child that doesn't wish that they could be with their child's father and have a good relationship and raise their kids. So it's both people to blame. Both people are 50% to blame, but I feel like, single mothers are getting the blame and these men are walking away blameless, like it's, the woman's fault why he doesn't help. So, not saying that, she says, not saying that they should, but it's probably the only way. I feel like they should be shamed. They should feel shame that they don't take care of their damn kids. All of them should be ashamed if they ain't working to take care of their kids.
Then take control of your situation. Stop relying on the government to feed your kids while you post selfies with a new man every month. Stop weaponizing single motherhood like it's a badge of honor when it's the result of broken standards and zero accountability. Because here's the truth. Being a mom is a full-time job. Raising children is a privilege and a responsibility. And being broke is not a personality trait. Food stamps are supposed to help you up, not keep you down. And if you're still on them after years of bad choices, it's not the system. It's not the man. It's you.
I'm fucking pissed the fuck off. They cut my motherfucking food stamps to $85 fucking dollars from $738. How the fuck that's supposed to support a household of 3? For a job that barely even support my basic needs now. Like inflation is hiding the bitch.
I kind of understand this a little bit because there's a lot of people that are working poor, right? And they get these services to kind of supplement because their incomes are not enough to cover their bills. So I don't know her situation really, but I do feel like that is an issue for a lot of the working poor. And I feel like a lot of people are working poor. Kimber says, sounds like they teach these young girls that men should do this and that. And the reality is they aren't going to, but instead of teaching girls to not sleep around and they sleep around. Yeah, I understand what you mean. But I agree. I feel like, a lot of girls, they might have been raised by mothers. Like I said, a lot of these people are on these services generationally. They're on it. Your mother, your grandmother, everybody does this, and that's just what but I feel like it's just really hard to peg it. Like me, I was a hairdresser, so I will always work off the books and stuff like that. So if your ends ain't meeting, you got to be a hustler. I feel like a lot of people today, they just don't have that hustle mentality. Like I feel like when I was growing up, people had that hustle mentality. And even if people were getting social services, they would have some other side hustle to make money. And, they lived really good. I don't know. I just feel like people today, I just feel like this society is very weak-minded. Everybody's very weak, very needy. They don't have any backbone. They damn sure don't have any spirituality or no faith in anything. And, I just feel like they have low self-esteem. This society raises people that have like a lot of mental issues and stuff like that go undiagnosed. And, this is what we're dealing with. People that can't take care of themselves.
Groceries is high as shit. Oh, I'm pissed the fuck off. Like, I'm mad as shit because how the fuck am I supposed to survive off that shit? So when y'all see me in the motherfucking store stealing stuff and that shit in my motherfucking bag, nicely act like you don't see shit and mind your motherfucking business, because this shit is going in my motherfucking bag and I'm walking out this motherfucking store with my motherfucking
this is where
chest up
the
in my head
Negro part, this is where I'm almost happy to see, because listen, I feel sorry for her children.
The issues who were taught growing up that the government's job, it's the taxpayer's job to supplement their income because they have the inability or refuse to keep a man around to help them raise those kids. So it's daddy's government's job to come in, offer.
Men don't want to stay. Can you imagine that last girl we saw cursing up a storm, acting crazy? Can you imagine what man would want to stay with her? Even the biggest jailbird thug, I don't think will want to listen to that all day. It's crazy. It's crazy. Kimber says, I'm not sure if it's COVID that knocked the wind out of the sails of Americans. I feel that it was COVID. COVID really shut down the country. A lot of small businesses were lost because of it. A lot of jobs were lost because of it. And people still haven't been made whole to this day. I know I haven't. I know I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars over COVID. And I haven't gotten my money back. I haven't gotten my excellent A1 credit back. I had lots of money saved in cash. I don't have my cash saved back since COVID. That messed up a lot of people, and it was by design.
Food stamps to keep everybody's bellies full. It's daddy's government's job to come in and supplement the housing situation and pay half the rent. It's daddy's government's job to make sure that everything is okay, right? That's choosing the state over building a community, because when you choose to lay down, when you choose to try to have a child,
he said it. He said you're choosing the government, the very people that you hate so much, that have enslaved your ancestors, did Jim Crow on you, and all of that, which is the Democrat Party for the whole damn time that did all this stuff to us. COINTELPRO killed all our leaders here and abroad. Instead of building our own community, instead of building our own nation, we're stuck in theirs, getting the smallest crumbs possible. This makes no sense to me, that people can't understand this.
But one of the things that you need to have a discussion about, which nobody seems to do anymore, is what y'all's goals are for these children in the future. And if you just getting your shit off with just a random man who's just trying to get a nut off, I guarantee y'all not about to have that conversation, because if he's just trying to get enough, he's not gonna have that goddamn conversation with you. A lot of y'all are having babies out of one night stands. I'm not saying that's the case in this woman, or with men that y'all barely know who are not gonna help y'all raise that baby. And y'all were raised to believe that if that man don't show up, fine, I can have a baby, but daddy government's gonna come through and supplement my income. And I'm telling you, you are living in a time right now. You can blame Trump, you can blame whoever the fuck you want, where the government is tightening its belt and they're saying, you. They don't care about you or those kids, or whether you go to bed hungry or not. And you can say whether it's right or wrong or whatever, but you need to consider that before you decide to bring people into this world, because it is not the government's job. It is damn sure not the taxpayers' job to take care of you and those children.
And that's the thing. The taxpayers are getting tired, and the government's getting tired. Like, everybody's getting tired of taking care of people that should be taking care of themselves. Yep.
And the amount of entitlement you have to say is you're going to go into a store and just start stealing shit because you can't afford to get X, Y, and Z. Instead of having those goals and projecting that to be your future, how about projecting the future of having a good, decent man come into your life to help you raise those kids? Or if you don't want a man, build a community with your girlfriends and try y'all best to pull y'all resources together and build a community so y'all can rely on each other and not necessarily the state, because the state don't give a fuck about you, baby.
This woman is literally fuming because the government reduced her food stamps from $738 to $85. Let's break that down. You were getting $738 a month, free money, to feed yourself and possibly your children. And instead of using that as a temporary stepping stone to get back on your feet, you treated it like a guaranteed paycheck. Now that it's been reduced to $85, suddenly the system is broken? Suddenly it's unfair? No. What's unfair is this entitlement mindset. That's $738? That came from hardworking taxpayers, people who wake up every day, go to work, pay their bills, and still struggle, all while funding lifestyles like yours.
And let me tell you something. While all of these people are getting these free money, you know what I got? A big ass tax bill. That's what I got. Meanwhile, they're getting housing, college, food, medical, this, that, and the third, and I got a tax bill to pay for it. People are getting tired of that. They're getting tired of it. And my tax bill was a lot. You think the IRS is going to give me any cash? No, they're going to garnish my wages, send me threatening letters until I pay it. Y'all better
that it's been cut, you're mad? Not mad at yourself for not getting a job, not creating a plan, not making better choices, but mad at the same system that supported you for who knows how long? Let's be honest here.
Decades.
If you were relying on $738 in food stamps every month and didn't even think to prepare for the day that support might end, you were never trying to be independent. You were trying to live comfortably off someone else's dime. And now reality is hitting hard.
Let me tell you something. When I was in New York over COVID, I decided I'm not going to pay my rent and I'm going to save all my money. And I did that. I saved every penny till I made enough money to move out of New York. Then I went to the government and got them to pay my landlord back the 20 grand I owed them. Plus I begged the government to please give them like an extra 5 grand because I left all my belongings there. They're lovely people. And I really feel that they need help to get that stuff out of there. And they did, gave them 25 grand. So and I did that in 8 months. So if somebody is not paying rent for 2 years and you're getting social services, all your bills paid, everything, you mean to tell me you can't go to school or you can't figure out a way to better yourself in 2 years? Now that's just the minimum for able-bodied people. What about people that's been on these programs for decades? There is nothing anybody can tell me about this that I would agree with at all.
This is what happens when you treat government assistance as a lifestyle instead of a lifeline. And don't act like you didn't know this was coming. For years, folks have been warning that the system is tightening,
they have.
that assistance isn't meant to be permanent. But instead of listening, women laughed, scrolled TikTok.
And let me tell you, President Trump ran on everything that he is doing. People that voted for him are not surprised by anything he's doing. Now, I didn't really think he would side with Israel and all of this and that. You know, a lot of people are mad at that. You know, he's getting involved in wars that he said he wasn't going to have no war, but we're fighting wars abroad and all this and that. You know, so nothing has changed there. I don't trust any of these people. But I have to say that a lot of the policies that he ran on, most of the people were like, that makes sense, and they aligned with it. And like I said, I definitely align with RFK because all of that vaccine stuff had made a huge impact on Black people. So come on, make it make sense. Nobody wants to be bothered with this foolishness of, you know, supporting people. And it makes our taxes so high. And then like we're paying all these high taxes. And then you look at a state like New York where they damn near going bankrupt paying for people that are not even from here. And you're paying these high ass taxes. You can't even get $5 from the government. I can't. That's
bragged
crazy
about
to
what
me.
they were buying with their EBT cards, and shamed men for making only $50,000 a year, while collecting more in benefits than some men take home in paychecks. Now
Mhm.
the faucet is running dry, and suddenly it's everyone's fault but yours? No, this is exactly the wake-up call that was needed. The truth is, you got too comfortable being dependent. You
Yep.
thought the gravy train would never stop. You never developed a plan, never improved your skills, never sought stability. You just assumed the government would always have your back, and now that it doesn't, the only one you can blame is yourself.
That's
Because
right.
food stamps were supposed to help you through, not hold your hand forever. And if losing a few $100s in government benefits is enough to destroy your lifestyle,
Exactly.
then
That little
maybe
bit
it's
of damn
time to
money.
stop blaming the government and start taking accountability.
Okay, I just got back from a first date, and I already know I'm not seeing this guy again. That's why I'm making this video, because I'm not seeing him again. But I just need to know if like I'm the problem and if I'm just being a little too judgmental here or not. I'm gonna take you guys to the beginning. So we match on Hinge because like, of course, like where else would we meet? Conversation is honestly going really well, and his profile is super interesting. Like, it seems like we would have a lot in common. We get on the topic of how we both work out and we're both super into the gym. He sends a text and he's like, okay, our first date's gonna be a gym date. Like, we're locking that in. I hate gym dates as first dates. I want you to plan a date, take me to dinner, and pay for it. It's not really about the money. It's just about being intentional and like showing that you care and putting effort in. And having a gym date as a first date is just kind of like, oh, like, let's just like show up here, I guess.
Like,
and,
oh my
talk
gosh,
for a
she's
little
wearing
bit.
me out
But again, our
already.
conversation at first was pretty good, and it felt like we would have a lot in common. So I was like, okay, like maybe I can look past it. Just assumed we were going to his gym because he was like, yeah, we're like doing a gym
Is
date. He
this
like
going
never specified
somewhere?
which gym. So I texted him and I was like, oh, like where's your gym again? Like which gym do you go to? And he was like, oh no, like I looked up the gym that you go to and like we're going to your gym. It's way nicer. Like I low-key hate that because I'm like, oh, so you're just gonna invite yourself to my gym. I don't bring men to my gym.
I have never
That's,
heard
like,
of a
my
gym
safe
date.
place. I don't like bringing men there. I think I've only ever brought like 2 guys there. I did a joke about it. I was like, my gym, like why can't we go to your gym? And he's just like making up excuses and being like, no, like we have to go to your gym. We're going to your gym. Like at
Girl,
this point, I'm already like
this is giving me a headache. Let's skip her too, because whatever story she's trying to tell, I don't want to hear it. Let's go. I don't even understand what this has to do with anything. It looks like that's the end of the video, whatever she was saying. So that was ridiculous. I don't even know why they put her in it. Kimba, I'm old too. I'm 54. So, okay. So that was a nice little journey that we went on of different opinions about these social service programs. And I would just implore everybody as a single parent that has applied. I'm a person that I pay taxes, and I feel like whatever the government has, if I'm entitled to it, I want it. Whether it be health insurance for my son, whether it be food stamps if I need it, unemployment, whatever. Like I apply for all of those things, and I'm very patient. Like I said, I applied to HRA and got $25,000 to pay my back rent because I decided I got to get out of New York because New York is crazy. And I just didn't pay my rent for 8 months and I saved enough money to move. And that was the best decision I ever made in my life. So if I can save enough money to move out of the state in 8 months, you mean to tell me you can't get it together enough to where you could get off these social services? They really don't pay that much compared to having a job. They really don't. They really don't. Them food stamps, when I got them, this was decades ago. It's such a little bit of money that I wouldn't even spend them. And then by the end, I had hundreds of dollars in food stamps and I was giving them away. I mean, it's just, I made more money doing hair on the side and doing different things that I didn't even rely on that money. So if you're going to get social services, start a business, be an entrepreneur, do find some side hustle or something to do with yourself, because it's not going to last forever, at least in today's society. And I honestly think they're going to have a Republican in office for the next few decades. Just don't feel like Democrats are going to have it together enough and have, any credibility left where enough people are going to vote for them. I just think it's over for them. They could protest all they want and stuff like that. It may look like a lot of people on camera, but honestly, 70 million people voted against them. And that's why they're not in office. So for all the people they got protesting and all that, it didn't help them at all. And it's not going to help them this time, and it's not going to help them when the next election comes around. It's not. In my state of New Jersey, I feel like they're going to have a Republican governor the next time because people are just tired. they've been in office for so many years and nothing is getting done and everything is deteriorating. So anyway, so I just implore y'all to just get it together, because all these free rides are about to be over. And I honestly believe that the Black community generates so much money, trillions of dollars a year, that we could have our own our own nation if we could just stop being so reliant on the government. We could have our own nation if we could learn to work together better to create things. And I feel like the tide is shifting and people are starting to wake up to this, especially when you see how successful Burkina Faso is doing without, being reliant on their colonizers or whatever. So it's like we have to really start looking at that. And I feel like the Democrats have showed us who they riding with, and it's not Americans, and it's damn sure not Black people. So why are you wasting your time with them? Pull your own stuff up. Get yourself out of this system. You know what I mean? We all have to pull ourselves out of the system. I don't even like getting unemployment sometimes, but I'm entitled to it, so I get it. You know what I mean? But I really just want to be so financially secure and independently wealthy that I don't have to worry about any of these things or any of these people. And honestly, if I want to, I can just get up at any time and just leave here and go somewhere else on earth. So we gotta really think about that, of how we're gonna save ourselves, because at the end of the day, no matter who you vote for, the only people that's going to make our lives better is us. They might throw you a bone here and there along the way, but we have to do it. We have to create for ourselves. You understand? So you guys do whatever you want with that information. In the meantime, I'm trying to build legacies out here, and I'm trying to get off of the plantation once and for all, and we're not going to do that if we're constantly reliant on social services. And I did like what the one young man said about women coming together and making a community, because that's what needs to be done. If you can't get it together, the men can't get it together, then women pull together and create a community of support for their kids. I was able to create a support system for my kid. And I have a video, a live video that's called How to Create a Support System for Your Kids. And I might make another one again and update the information. But, you have to learn how to make a support system for yourself and your kids so that you don't get stuck in these social services. So I'm going to go now. I've been on here for a while now. I love you. This means I love you in sign language. And I do. I appreciate you. Thank you, Kimba, for sitting with me. Anybody else out there that, sat through this with me, I appreciate you. I really do. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Sometimes I forget that I have my glasses on because I need them to see far away and up close. And I can see in the middle, but I can't see nothing else. So sometimes I just want to get my eyes a rest and wear my glasses. It makes it easier. But, I really appreciate you guys for being with me. And please like and share and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications. The usual, what you got to do. Just help a sister out. I really appreciate it. And I love y'all. And thank you for watching. I really appreciate you. I am Shelly B. See you next time.